I tried to scream, but my voice was gone. And they stole.
Hi, welcome back to my humble abode. So good to see you. How have you been? So basically, I told her, if you want to drink out of the skull like it's a chalice, you simply have to believe. And she didn't seem to get it. So it's honestly kind of embarrassing for her, but whatever. Anyway, how are you? That's good. That's good to hear. Today, we have my favorite horror of 2023. Oh my God, can you believe it? This is the video that everyone on BookTube waits for. This is the video where everyone's like, Tiffany, Brittany, Jessica, Amanda, they're gonna be posting their best of, but they're like, that's cool, Tiffany, Brittany, Ashley, whatever. But Jordaline's gonna be posting her favorite horror any day. And everyone's waiting. Everyone waits. I get it. I know. If you ever wanted to watch somebody be delusional in real time, this is it right here, right now. So I look forward to this video. I don't know if you do. Probably not. But I look forward to it because I like talking about horror. What's disappointing though about 2023 is I really didn't read that much this year, to be honest with you, Tiffany. I wasn't living, laughing, loving in horror. Honestly, if you look through my Goodreads challenge for 2023, it's like the who's who of no horror. My list this year is kind of short. I have 7 books. Anywho, my name is Jordaline. In case you don't know, I talk about horror here on this channel. If you're interested, go ahead and subscribe. I talk about spooky shit. I also have Instagram. It's at Jordaline. Pretty easy. Also, just so you know, I have Patreon where we do reading sprints, live shows. There's early access to content, exclusive content. I'm going to be moving things around, switching things up on the Patreon. We're going to start doing more long form Patreon exclusive content. So rather than focusing on one book for a video, it's gonna be multiple books. It's gonna be a whole thing. It's gonna be crazy. Also, every month we have different guests. So this month we have Gavin. Oh, next month we have fucking Aaron. And then the month after that we have Katie Colson. And it's gonna be so fucking. By the way, what do you think of my pen? Isn't she cute? Patreon's so much fun. Please check it out. It would mean a great deal to me, and I love talking to the patrons. And it's not a fucking cult. Okay, sure, we sacrifice people. Okay, sure, we have Kool-Aid, but is that a crime? People's families are concerned, but it's not a cult. It's not a big deal. Anyway, let's start talking about my favorite horror from 2023. I'm trying to decide if I should start with the book where I'm this was for sure my favorite horror novel of the year. Or I should just leave that at the end so that people watch all the way through, because I'm an evil content creator. Usually I do not pick favorites, okay? Usually I'm I like all of these books, they're fine. No, this year I'm there was for sure a favorite. There was one that I did not stop thinking about the entire year. Okay, and not only that, I read it in January. Tiffany, do you know how fucking crazy that is? To read a book 12 months ago and still have it locked up in your little bird brain? That's me. First things first, I'm the realist. The September House. I don't remember the author's name. I was honestly too lazy to grab the books from my shelf, so I'm just gonna put a photo here. The September House. Listen, when I picked this book up, I was it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be fresh, it's gonna be cute, whatever, it's not a big deal. But then the motherfucking thing literally flipped it and reversed it. I was crazy about it. And not only that, but the book had me hook, line, and sinker. Imagine that this book had claws and it just raked its little fucking teeny tiny little fish hooks into my back and I couldn't move forward. Okay, Tiffany. Now in case you're what is the September House about? I've never even heard of that book. Let me tell you. God, why are you so impatient? Jesus, calm down. So the September House is about this girl named Margaret. I think her name is Margaret. Maybe it's Marcy. I think it's Margaret. Maybe it's not. I can't remember. We'll call her Margaret. Who cares? She and her husband, Phil, move into this house, right? And it's the perfect place. And they have been saving, they have been dreaming, they have been working their asses off to get this house, to buy this house. It's the right price. It's the right style. It's got the right amount of rooms. And listen, Margaret, Marcy, Mabel is obsessed with it. She's like a woman in her 50s, by the way. She's like midlife. So she's like, finally, I have a place to put down my roots or whatever. And then her husband goes missing in September. Because in September, there's this thing with her house, which like she didn't know before moving in. And like if she had, maybe she would have like rethought things. But every September, the house crawls with ghosts. And listen, it could be bad, but like the other 11 months of the year, perfect. No ghosts, nowhere, nothing. And then September rolls around and it's like crazy, it's creepy, it's weird. There's like, you know, people with like axes in their heads and like children who don't have fucking legs crawling around, and there's blood coming down from the walls, and there's like black sludge coming out of the pipes, dead fucking fingers and limbs just found places. It's like not ideal. However, Margaret Marble Maisel is like, listen, bitch, I have a fucking mortgage. Okay, do you know how fucking hard it is to buy a house in this economy? I'm not giving it up. Because originally her husband's like, we need to get the fuck out of here. This is crazy. And she's like, no. My life savings, my life work has gone into this house. I'm not leaving. These ghosts can get the fuck out. I'm not fucking going. I'll die before I go. And then her husband goes missing. And Margaret Maisel maybe is like, okay, well, this is not great. But she's kind of like, whatever. You kind of have to like roll with the punches. And so Mabel's is rolling with the punches. And then her daughter, Sarah, or something like that, Ashley, I don't know. She calls and she's like, hi, Mom. So I'm going to come visit this week in September. Margaret Maisel maybe is like, oh, that's not a great time. Honestly, it's not a great time. Your father and I are so stressed with just a bunch of stuff. So just like, don't come. Maybe come in October. I feel like October is a perfect time for you to visit, actually. And her daughter is like, no. Honestly, actually, I kind of think that you are hiding something from me because Dad has kind of been missing. Like, I haven't spoken to this motherfucker in a month. And every time I call, you're like, he's busy, he's at work, he's blah, blah. Where is he? What's going on? I'm going to come visit in September. You can't stop me. Now, Margaret has to deal with like her missing husband and then also her daughter, who has no idea that this house is like the most haunted thing in America for these 30 days. If you want something fun, something fresh, something funny, this book is it. I had a few people be like, ha ha ha, it's like a little kiki, it's like a little fun, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, cool. But then it was actually like really funny. But not only that though, the way that the author mixes the humor with the horror, it's like the perfect black comedy. It knows when to be funny and like sassy and campy, and it knows when to be serious and when to actually scare the fucking shit out of you. And honestly, it kind of scared the shit out of me. Not only that, but like the mystery part of the book, I was constant like, what happened to her husband? What's in the basement? Why are all these children doing all these things? What's with the maid axe lady? Like, I had questions. I had concerns. 10 out of 10, would recommend. I honestly have no complaints other than that her daughter isn't that great of a character, but she's like really not like the main focus of the book. So another horror book. Okay, I read this one like I think in March or something like that. Like it was a long time ago. I read The Spite House. And honestly, again, I went into that book and I was like, this is gonna be fun. It'll be cute, whatever. I'm not gonna like leave with my like whole brain just turned upside down, floating in amniotic fluid. The fuck is amniotic fluid? The Spite House. It's about this dad and his kids. They are on the run from the law, from everyone. They don't want to be found by nobody. This dad and his daughter and his youngest daughter are like all sort of like hiding in America for reasons that we as the audience do not know. And then they see this like ad in the newspaper, come stay at this house for like a few weeks and we'll like pay you like $100,000. A crazy amount of money. So this dad, he's like, listen, we've got no money, we've got nowhere to go. So he's like, I'll do it. And he takes his kids with him and they stay in the Spite House, which is like notoriously haunted. They're told like it's haunted. We want to see how long you can last in this house for like science or whatever. Literally, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's so much beneath the surface. Like you think you're going into it and you're like, this is a normal family with normal children and this is a normal haunted house with normal haunted house vibes. No. No. It's not. Okay, because like this family is not normal. Nothing about them is normal. The house is not normal. Nothing about it is normal. It's honestly horrifying. And by the end of the book, I was gagged. I was aghast. I read this in like March. Sometimes I'll just like sit around and think about it. Just sort of like lose myself in space and time, just thinking about The ending of the book, it like literally takes the wind out of me. The writing, stunning. Characters, gorgeous. The world building, which is such a weird thing. You don't usually hear them when people talk about like horror, but the world building is crazy. Oh, the generational trauma. That's all I'm gonna say. The generational trauma, it's real. It's real and it's there in that book. Oh my God. Tiffany, you have to listen. Every single book I talk about, you have to read it. You have to. You're thinking, okay, Jordaline, you're gonna mention books that are normal and have nothing to do with vaginas. You'd be wrong. You would be terribly, terribly wrong. The next book I want to talk to you about is Queen of Teeth. Queen of Teeth by Hailey Piper is a book about vagina dentata. And listen, if you're like, what is vagina dentata? That's a great question, Tiffany. One that I would love for you to Google, but I'm sure you know what it is. Like if you're in the horror sphere, you probably know what vagina dentata is. And I've said this before publicly. I'll say it again publicly. I wish I had vagina dentata. Can you imagine? I would, oh my God, it'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. I don't know if I would use it. I'm not gonna say that I would like murder people with it, but like, I'm also not saying that I wouldn't murder people with it. Queen of Teeth was crazy, and it's kind of got this like sci-fi cosmic horror vibe, which I feel like is very much like Hailey's vibe. I feel like Hailey, who by the way is a lesbian, we did confirm this. She's the kind of girl who will write this like gay, weird, spacey, like science fiction-y type shit that's like horrifying. Honestly, also she kind of has like a culty vibe with her writing, which we also love. But the Queen of Teeth, it's about this girl named Yaya? Oh, Yolanda. I think people call her Yaya. Either way, it's what this girl named Yaya / like Yolanda. She is just trying to live her life, okay? She's a regular, everyday, average kind of bitch, okay? But she's walking down the street every day and she's constantly reminded of the fact that she's like a second fucking citizen. She's like on the bottom of the totem pole because in this society, certain people who have certain genetic mutations are seen as less than. Yolanda has this certain mutation. She has to go to like the fucking healthcare place, like the fucking free clinic or whatever. They do all these weird things. She has to take these pills, whatever. So one day she goes there, they inject something into her. She doesn't know what it is. She's like, whatever. It's a fucking Tuesday. You know, at the beginning of the book, Yolanda wakes up in this girl's bed. It's like a random girl's bed. And she's like, oh, we fucked last night. But I've also like blood onto your sheets because I got my period. That's uncomfortable. That's awkward. So Yolanda goes to the bathroom and she's like, you know, doing her business. And oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? Something has pricked her. So she's bleeding from her finger. And she's like, that's suspicious and weird. So she starts digging around. That's kind of gross. But she starts like digging around in her yaya, you know? She starts to feel a tooth embedded in her vaginal walls. And so Yaya's like, listen, this wasn't on my like 2023 bingo card. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, why do I have this? So she goes to the clinic and she says to the doctor, like, hey, I got these vagina teeth things going on. Like I have a fucking molar in my fucking vagina. Like it's weird. And her doctor is like, that's definitely weird. And slowly she gets more teeth. They start growing more. There might even be tentacles involved. I don't want to say anything too crazy, but it's crazy. It's gay, of course. If you were ever like, oh, I wish they would make a movie like Teeth, but make it like weird and also like a tentacle monster, that's what Queen of Teeth is. Lesbians, vagina monsters, a crazy state government thing that wants to control women's bodies. Peanut butter. Just peanut butter, okay? God, I loved it. It was so good. If you want to read about women choking people out with their pussy tentacles, look no further, my friend. Look no further. It's there for you right here. And you heard me right. I said pussy tentacles. Pussy tentacles. Anyway, we should talk about the two books that I read very recently that I really, really loved. Now, in case you missed it, in case you didn't watch it, I did a whole vlog where I read Darcy Coates books. I read like 6 Darcy Coates books or something like that. And there were 2 of them where I was like, Darcy, Darcy, who gave you permission to literally slay? Darcy Coates has been snatching our wigs and we didn't even fucking know. At least I didn't know. Darcy Coates has been snatching my wig and I didn't even know. First of all, we have Dead of Winter. Imagine you're in this like tour. Imagine you're on a bus with a bunch of people. It's like the middle of winter, whatever. You're with your boyfriend and you're like, this couldn't get any better. It's so romantic. The scenery and your boyfriend is like kissing your cheek and is being like, I love you and hot cocoa or whatever. You and your boyfriend at like a little stop. He's like, we should go over here and like look at stuff or whatever. So then you and your boyfriend kind of like separate from everyone and he's like taking you and you're like, I think we're getting lost. And he's like, no, I know the way around. Shut up, bitch. I know what the fuck I'm doing. How dare you? Then your boyfriend's like, okay, I think we're lost. And then you fall off a fucking cliff. You get lost, you get separated, not only from the group, but also your boyfriend. And then you wake up next and you're in this cabin with all of the people who are in the group. And you're like, okay, found you guys, so glad for that. Where's my boyfriend now? And they're like, listen, we couldn't find him. We think he's dead. And she's like, no. Anyway, basically, you're stuck in this cabin. Your boyfriend is probably dead. And you don't know that any of these people, not only that, but people are also starting to die very mysteriously. Not only are you trapped in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in the middle of winter, but you're also trapped potentially with a killer. Is it like a Pulitzer Prize novel? No, it's really not. It's not, but it's fucking fun. Not only that, but like the mystery, the whole time I was like, I'm pretty sure it's this guy. Actually, no, it's this guy. I was like Sherlock Holmes. I was trying to like deduce shit. Honestly, in hindsight, it's kind of obvious who it is, but it's a lot of fun. It's a bit more gory than what I was used to with Darcy Coates, which I enjoyed. And the characters are interesting. Honestly, it's just like a fun book. I feel like you're gonna read it and you'll be like, that was a little hoot and a holler. And then the other Darcy Coates book where I was hunted by Darcy Coates. If you know, you know. If you've read Hunted, you might know what I'm talking about because I read that book. And honestly, I think what really fucks me up about the book is that I went into it and I was like, this is gonna be ass. And I'm gonna read it for Tiffany's enjoyment. I was like, I'm gonna hate this and I'm gonna really hate hating it, but I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna do it for Tiffany because I know how much she enjoys it when I suffer. Like, I know that about you, Tiffany. I know you. Listen, I don't wanna get personal, but like, you keep being like, we don't know each other that well, blah, blah, blah. I know you. I know who you are and I know that that's what you like. Anyway, and then to my surprise, I was like, this is amazing. I said in that video, like, if you've read a novel, you have read this book. I said, if you have read a book that has a beginning, middle, and an end, you have read this novel. I don't think you need to go out there and like read it immediately because it's gonna affect some like greater purpose, but it's a lot of fun. In case you're like, what is Hunted? Jordaline, let me tell you, Tiffany, my sweet little angel booty, bye, bitch. I just called you a booty, bye, bitch. Oh. I don't want to assume your sexuality, but I think now canonically Tiffany's bi. Anyway, Hunted. It's about this girl. She goes missing in the woods. People like assume that she's dead because she's been missing for a while. And her family and her brother are like really, really, really concerned. They come up from, you know, whatever town they're from to like the place where she's gone missing, the town where she's gone missing. And they're like, we're gonna find her. Specifically, her brother. Her brother is like, I'm gonna find Catherine. He's like, I'm gonna find her. Cause like, I love my sister and like, I know I can feel it. She's not dead. I know she's not dead. I'm gonna find her. And then his friends come with him. There's like one dude, he's like a jock. He's kind of dumb, whatever. There's like another girl. She's like the ditzy blonde cheerleader who's like actually a genius. And then there was this other friend who's like a regular girl. Also, this guy is like your typical white dude. He's just like a stereotypical white het cis dude. I'm assuming he's het. Anyway. So they go out into the forest, the woods. Things don't go well. And we're really going between like their perspectives, this guy named Todd, who's like the token incel of the book. And then we're also following the detective. I'm gonna say she's like a lesbian. Like she gives off major lesbo vibes, okay? The whole book, I was like shipping her with this like deputy girl or whatever. I was like, they have so much chemistry. Like for sure, Darcy Coates is trying to be like, they're gonna be together. And then at the end of the novel, it was like nothing. Like the whole book, I was like, am I crazy? Like there's so much chemistry between these characters and they didn't end up to, honestly, it just reminded me of Ninth House. Haunted is so good. It's similar to Dead of Winter, where it's this fight for your life kind of book, where people are trapped, people are stuck. It's like this mystery of like who's doing the killing, what happened to Catherine. Is her brother gonna make it out alive? Is it supernatural? Is it some random person? We don't know. It's so fun. 2 books left. Of course, you saw this coming. You saw this coming. We have Nestlings by I was gonna call him Matthew Cassidy. By Nat Cassidy. Listen, also, can I just say, I don't want to brag. I recently had Nat on the Patreon because we read this in November. He was on the Patreon. We did like a little live stream. Honestly, I'm so happy with how that turned out. It was like one of the best hour and a halves of my life, okay? Like I was living, breathing, dying, gagging, dancing, screaming, throwing up, crying. Tiffany, please, if you're interested, check out the live stream. Go to my Patreon. It was amazing. It was amazing. I loved every minute of it. He's just the funnest person. And not only that, but like we got the tea on like when things are happening next and like when he's releasing books next. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Anyway, if you read Mary and you go into Nestlings and you're like, I want a similar experience, no, you're not gonna get it. I'm telling you though, that what you do get is just as good, okay? Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Mary more than I like this, but I still loved this. In case you don't know, this is about Anna and Reed. Anna is in a wheelchair. They have a kid named Charlie, and she's like a little baby. She's like 6 months old, maybe like a year old. I can't remember. And they're at this apartment building, and Anna is thinking to herself, she's like, we don't belong here. We don't belong here. We don't belong here. We don't belong here. We do not belong here. And they're looking around this apartment, and it's in the Deptford. And the Deptford is like super, super fancy. Like only like the best of the best live there. But they have this thing where it's like a lottery and like poor people can live there for like controlled rent sort of fees. They won the lottery. So they have a chance to live at the Deptford in this like really fancy apartment. They're looking around. Anna is like anxious. She's thinking, we don't belong here. Reed comes up to her and he's like, baby, honey, sweetie, baby, we got to get this. We got to get it. Like we need this. This is what we need. And she's like, yeah, okay, cool. That's like what you think. I'm in a fucking wheelchair, you stupid bitch. Where the fuck did you see the ramps? There were no ramps. And he's like, oh my God, of course. You're so right. You're so right. We can't live here. The realtor comes up and she's like, what do we think? It's perfect for a nursery or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we love it. We just love it so much. It's just like, we can't. And then Anna's like, we'll take it. Reed does one of those things that you see in the movies where it's like a slow-mo, like what? And so he's confused. Anna's like, we'll take it. We love it. They take this apartment and then they move in and they find that it's perfect, you know? They even like did all these things to make it like more accessible for Anna. They're so happy. And not only that, like Charlie is so good. And then Charlie starts acting weird. Their baby starts acting weird. They have these weird neighbors who are like both like young, but also kind of old at the same time. Like you look at them and you're like, you're literally stunning and gorgeous. And I can't tell what age you are because on one hand, I'm like, you must be elderly. But then on the other hand, I'm like, you're 30. Listen, I don't want to say too much, but it's crazy. Listen, I don't want to brag, but talking to Nat about it, I felt like the smartest bitch in the world because I was like, listen, I noticed this and this and this about blah, blah, blah. And he would be like, oh my God, you're so smart. And I would be like, oh my God, stop. There are so many parts of this book that are like contextualized through the afterword. Like, you know, when Mary, he did the afterword where he was like, why I wrote a book about menopause. Like, he does something similar in the back of this. And listen, let me just read you this fucking thing because I told him too, like, this changed my fucking brain chemistry. This reverted my mental illness. Like, it might have cured my mental illness. It might have made it worse. Honestly, the doctors are still like waiting to get my test results back. But he fucking said in his afterword, let me read this to you, okay? What kind of video would it be if I wasn't like reciting Nat Cassidy quotes directly to your fucking face, like what would that be like? It wouldn't even be a thing. It wouldn't be a thing. Okay, anyway, this book is my attempt at articulating something happening in real time, a certain emotional homelessness. Tiffany, this man said emotional homelessness. I read that and I was hit with 1,000 bricks. Took the wind right out of me. And then I was like, okay, great. So I'm just gonna have like a mental breakdown. Excuse me. And then I continued reading and I read this, okay? Grief is the space between two states of being, who you were and who you are. And I said, excuse me. How fucking dare you come into my home and literally destroy my mental state? Like, that's so fucking rude. Those two sentiments of like emotional homelessness and like this place between who you were, who you are, it comes up in this book. It like drew me closer to the characters. This book just feels so personal. And not only that, but it's horrifying. Listen, you're like, okay, but like, what about the gross factor? I want to know about the horror. Let me tell you about the horror. It's fucking horror, okay? Like, people have millipede legs in their mouths. There's human juice boxes, Tiffany. I can't even. This book is so good. Literally split my atoms. Changed my life forever. Fucking emotional homelessness. The last book. The book that I read in January, that is my favorite horror book of this year. Decided. I knew like after reading it, I was like, no, this is the one. It was so fucking good. I literally could not put it down. I was addicted to this book. I just love this book so much because of how much it had me fucked up and gagged. I was gagged. It's just, in my opinion, very well done. Very, very, very well done. I'm talking about The Watchers by A.M. Shine. Now you're like, Jordaline, what is that? I've never heard of it. Let me tell you, The Watchers, about this girl. She is on the road. She has this thing where like she goes to this guy every now and again and she's like, hey, Jimmy, Timmy, Bob, whatever. I'm looking for like a little bit of like a side gig, like a little bit of work just to like supplement my income. Do you have any like extra like little side jobs I could do for just like a little extra cash? So Jimmy, Billy Bob Thornton will be like, yeah, I do. You need to like take this and like deliver it to this guy. And like he gives her an address. It's like a little bit out of town. She gets in her car. She starts driving. On the way there, she's on the highway, right? She's driving. Maybe like listening to like 2012's Pop. Maybe she's listening to an audiobook of like Eat, Pray, Love, whatever. All of a sudden, her car breaks down. And so she's like, what the fuck is going on? So she's sitting in her car trying to figure out like what the hell's going on. So she looks at her phone. Oh, there's no bars. There's no service. So she's like, this is weird and suspicious and weird. And then she starts to hear screaming coming from the fucking forest on the side of the road. Listen, Tiffany, if you have any idea of what comes after that part of the book, if you have any idea of like what happens when she starts to hear screaming, no, you don't. No, you fucking don't. What was that? You don't know. Because I didn't know. I literally, you think like, oh, the Watchers. Maybe it's about like people who were like, you know, bird watchers, but like it's humans instead of birds, you know? No. Not only that, but you have on top of whatever the Watchers are, how do I say this without spoiling anything? But there's like a certain secludedness. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a certain unavoidability. Like they can't go back to their normal lives kind of energy. I don't want to spoil anything because I really like you, okay? I don't want to spoil it. I'm just telling you right fucking now, if you're interested in like reading a fast-paced book, if you want to read a book where you're like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is going to happen? You want to get out of like a reading slump? This is the book to read. This is the book. It's so fucking good. And it was my favorite. Again, I read it in one sitting. Could not put it down. Refused to, honestly. The last 10 pages, 20 pages had me absolutely fucking gagged. Tiffany, you need to read it. You need to. If you don't read it, are we even friends? Anyway, my friends, my family, my familia. Thank you so much for watching this video, for being here with me today. Oh my God, it's been so much fun. I hope you're living, laughing, loving, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of these books. Let me know what your favorite horror books of the year were. I need recommendations, bitch, because 2024, I want to read so many more horror books than I did this year. Because I think I read probably like 10, maybe like 15. No, maybe more than that. I don't remember. But either way, I didn't read as many horror books as I'm used to reading, and I want to change that. I want to change a lot of things, actually. But anyway, let me know. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe, because we talk about spooky shit, talk about creepy shit, talk about pussy tentacles, and watching the watchers. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Goodbye, Tiffany. Goodbye. Au revoir. Stay gorgeous. Don't be humble at all. Tell everyone. I'm gonna pop my pussy. Okay, bye.